Good morning, it's Brenda Preche. I just want to come and bring a word of encouragement. I have been studying the book of Numbers, and the children of Israel are about to walk into their promised land. But one of the things in Numbers chapter 33 that jumped out at me, that has just blessed me so much, it gives us a strategy. It gives us an understanding that when you get to your promised land, you will still have to drive out some enemies that are in the promised land. When you get to wherever it is you have been desiring God for, and then it comes to you, right? Are you ready for it? The children of Israel had to go through the wilderness, right? To get out all the mindset and the bad thinking and the thoughts about when they were in bondage. So the wilderness was like a place of discipleship for them, right? They had to go through discipleship to get the wilderness out of their thoughts and their minds. But even when they get to the place where they're about to walk into their promised land, there's some enemies that they have to drive out. Not God driving it out. It's something that they had to do. And I just love that it says, when ye are passed over the Jordan, so I read the King James Version, right, into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, right? And these are also called their enemies, right? So when you arrive to the promised land of business endeavors, right, your business is popping and booming, God has blessed you in that place, there's some enemies that are going to try to come up against you in that land. When you rise into the land of marriage, there's some enemies, right, in that land of marriage. When you rise into the land of motherhood, parenthood, there's some enemies that are going to try to rise up. And I really believe that the enemy that we're facing is not anything outside of us. Yes, I believe that there is demonic spirits and all of the things, but when we really deal with the generational things that are attached to our bloodline, and we really attack those familiar spirits, right, those generational things, generational patterns, right? We believe that generational curses are broken when you have come into, right, the bloodline of Jesus Christ. But generational patterns are still there, and you're going to have to kill it. Just because a mama, grandma, great-grandma, auntie, sister, and whoever is doing whatever doesn't mean that you have to do it. You're going to have to kill that generational pattern. You're going to have to kill everything that is not godly, that is not what God has desired for you in the place of your promised land. I love that. And it says, if you do not drive it out, then they shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall vex you in the land where you dwell. If you don't drive it out, you will be vexed in the land of motherhood. Come on, somebody. As a mother, right, I've been in this mom journey for almost 20 years now. As a mom, I will just say, things that I did not deal with, or things that I refuse to deal with, they will pop up in your children, right? And then if you really want to make sure that your children will not go through the things you went through, that your children will not be dealing with the same behavior issues that you've had to deal with, you're going to really attack it and let God deliver you. Let God usher you into breakthrough within yourself. So therefore, you can minister to your kids. So that goes for everything. Before you can deal with really having the promise of the promised land, there's some things you're going to have to drive out. There's some things you're going to have to drive out. It's not about God doing it. It's some things you're going to have to do. And I hope that makes sense. I hope you catch that, because it's so good. So good. All right. So think about that. You are praying for some things, and God is going to give it to you, right? He's going to give you the new job. He's going to give you the promotion. He's going to give you the next level. At that next level, there's some things you have to drive out. There's some things that's going to try to come back, right? Come back and deter you and bother you, but you're going to have to drive it out. You're going to have to stand flat-footed in your faith that this is what God has promised me. Nothing can make me move out of my promised land. I'm not going to be a burden. I'm not going to cause myself to not be in my promised land. So I'm going to do what I need to do. And if you are a Bible reader, if you love the word, when it comes to the book of Esther, right? The book of Esther is a great example. Like generations before Esther was even there, if King Saul would have did what he was supposed to do, Esther would not have had to even go before the king and fight against the Agagites, right? Trying to kill the whole nation of Jews. If it would have been dealt with in a previous generation, sometimes, right? And even in the book of Numbers is so good. One generation didn't even do right. So they got cut off. So the next generation got to go into the promised land. Are you the person in your generation, right, that's going to make sure that the next generation, your children, your children's children, your children's children's children, come on somebody, are not going to have to go through the same thing, that they get to walk into the promised land? You may not ever get to see the promised land that God has placed in your sight, but you're preparing a place for your children. Are you going to do the things, right? Are you going to be persistent in prayer, persistent in fasting, persistent in all the things of God to really cultivate godliness that your children can see? Come on somebody. Are you going to be repentant of your sins? Are you going to really cry out to God for mercy, so therefore the next generation can walk into that promised land? If it's not for you, it might be for the next generation. But if you do what he's called you to do, when they get to that promised land, the thing that was bothering you, the thing that was bothering your parents, the thing that was bothering your grandparents will already be killed, so they don't have to deal with it. They will have to drive something else out from what the word is saying, but not the thing that you were assigned to drive out, that you were assigned to destroy based upon your faithfulness and you working with God. Come on somebody. It's not just God doing a thing. It's us working with him. It's us doing what he's told us to do. It's us being consistent in prayer, consistent in fasting, consistent in whatever it is that he's called us to build, the purpose that he's given us. But anyways, bye.